my wife and I were married for about 8 or 9 years. We're about halfway through how long we've been married now. At that point, I was an alcoholic, couldn't quit drinking, wouldn't quit drinking, and so my wife asked me to leave.
Brandon and I were having troubles in our marriage, and we were separated because we tried the whole counseling and all that, and he'd show up drunk, and he wasn't stopping drinking, and we were having financial difficulties, and I just said enough's enough.
I had an opportunity to stop and look and take a look at my life, and for a while, part of that time, right after she asked me to leave, I went and moved down to Gaslamp, where Petco Park is now. I lived in a condominium there. Pretty much had a life that you would think a single guy would want, down in the Gaslamp, party all you want, friends telling you this is great, you're single, never be happy or whatever. But in the midst of that, I really realized how much I loved and missed my wife and family. And it was kind of an amazing thing. I had one of those moments where pure clarity. I was laying in my bed. This is a loft building. I look up and I think, I should probably just hang myself. I've lost my family. I've lost everything. And amazingly, friends of ours had given each of our kids Bibles. And when I moved out of the house, my daughter Ginger had slipped her Bible into the stuff that I took, and there it was. So I started looking at it and almost immediately felt peace, felt some kind of sense that dying was not the answer. And so I looked into my life and I said, there's two people who I really know and care about, two guys who are married, and why is their marriage successful and not mine? I mean, a lot of my friends who were not Christians at the time were saying, move on, more fish under the bridge and all that kind of stuff. But I knew inside that wasn't the answer. I needed to find out, even if I didn't get back together, how to go and be happy the rest of my life. So I looked at two of my friends, and my friend Lee and Kelly, they had gone through kind of similar things, but they had found Christ in the middle of it. Which to me was foreign because I was pretty much raised agnostic or not believing or questioning everything that my friends who were Christians did. And also my friend Tim, he was the same way. They had gotten married the same exact time as us. They were Christians. We were not. They have 5 kids. Their marriage was happy. Mine was not. And the only difference was God. So I really called them up and asked them how to pray, asked them what church to go to, what to do, and I was brought to New Song back then. And I'm one of the fortunate ones that miraculously God took my desire for alcohol away. I never drank again after that. I had one of those moments in my life when it's like, would be an epiphany to people that I remember the day I accepted Christ. I asked my friend, what do I got to do? He says, well, this is how you do it. I did it. I remember that night being on my knees praying to God that He would save my family, He would save things. And I really realized at that moment, things flashed by me that, where God had been in my life these times, when I was a kid, when I was, and all the times He had saved me from just terrible things happening. So I was able to start going to church and that, and miraculously God healed our family, brought my wife and I back together, and now the second 9 years of our marriage have been a complete difference. God is amazing how He heals and how He makes it better. He gave us stuff in our life we didn't even know we needed or wanted. He's just been amazing.
We went to church when I was a kid, and it was a much different God than I've come to know. So I had gone to a private school. My family were Christians, but I think up until I was probably 10, we went to church, and then we kind of went away. We didn't go regularly. But once I got to high school, I just went away from all of that. And I remember my nieces and things, they would ask me about God or different things, and they would ask me, do you believe in angels? And I'd just give them comments like, I've never seen any. I don't know for sure. So I kind of went that whole agnostic view. I don't really know. So we were separated. And about that same time, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And my mother and my father are divorced. In another state, my father was diagnosed with cancer around the same time. The interesting thing, though, was that my mother always had a little different view, I thought, of her Christian walk, her relationship with God. She kind of had this whole, I'll put him in my God box, or I'll put him in my God basket, and I give those things to him. But it wasn't really through prayer and fellowship and praise and all those things that we've now come to know as having in a good relationship with God. My father, on the other hand, he did. I mean, he was involved in his church, and I knew about that. And the difference was that my father had so much peace. And during a time of turmoil, what do you need most? You need some peace. And I saw that he was getting it from his relationship with God. So I thought, well, you know what? I'm still don't know. I was still kind of angry with God. And so I thought, if nothing else, I need peace. So I started going to church. Our friends Kelly and Lee had been praying for us, and they had had similar situations with, problems with alcohol and marital problems and this and that. They'd managed to work them out, and they would keep inviting us to come, and so I started going. The funny thing is, then Brent started coming, I felt, so that he could find things to use against me. I thought that he was just going to use the Bible like, it says in the Bible that you're not allowed to divorce. And so I felt like he was looking for things to make me feel bad about that.